Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 58. This podcast is about anything and everything related to Destiny the game. If you love playing Destiny as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we continue to get Rise of Iron info from Game Informer. Destiny Reset and the Derp fam are the Bungie community focus, and we welcome Fallout plays to the show. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. This is Arrow Knight and Cyborg Sasquatch. How are you, dude?
Man, I am having an outstanding week. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's been a busy week.
It has.
Winding down on Friday. Talking to you for a little bit, and then maybe jumping in some trials.
Yeah, man. It has been a fun week over here in the Derp fam. And
oh, yes, it has.
It definitely has. And just at the top show, I got to give a shout out. If you're a new listener, welcome. Welcome to the Derp fam.
Welcome to the show.
Just by listening, you are part of the Derp fam movement.
I know we get that question a lot. Like, can we join the Derp fam even if we're not in the clan, or if we, like, yeah.
You are. You already are.
Family. You are, yeah. It's a family.
All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and kick off the show with my geography lesson of the week. You ready?
I'm ready. I love these, man.
All right, man. This is part of the show where you can send us a tweet or an email and be featured here. Tell us where you're from, what's so special about that place, and your favorite class in Destiny, and you can be featured right here. So this week we've got an email from a new member of the fam. His name is The Blind Elites, and he hails from Rhode Island. He writes, "Hello, Destiny Reset. I'm here to submit into the geography lesson. Now, before I begin, I just wanted to say my town is too small to do a lesson, so I just wanted to do it on my entire state."
I love it.
I love it, yep. Here's a little bit about the biggest little state in the Union, Rhode Island, the ocean state. We may be the smallest state, but we have the largest name, the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. If you ever visit the state, here are some places you might want to visit. First is a place called the Arcade, and it's the first enclosed mall in the United States. If shopping isn't your cup of tea, then you can come visit the Tennis Hall of Fame as well. Another fact, you can fit 4,000 Rhode Islands in the entire mainland United States.
Wow.
I'm sorry for a very short geography lesson, but I wanted to say something as well to all of the Derp fam. Since birth, I've been diagnosed with 2 disabilities. One is minor and the other is a bit more major. I have a very bad speech impediment and I'm half blind. Why is this important? Well, because I run a positive KD and a 334 light character. So to anyone who listens to this podcast and thinks that they can't do anything because of a disability, I hope this helped you and encouraged you. If you want to play with me on Xbox One, my gamer tag is The Blind Elites. Just like that, how it's spelled. P.S. I main a warlock using hand cannon, fusion rifles, and machine guns. Now that's my kind of geography lesson.
Yeah, you picked those warlocks.
Hey,
no,
I
that's
just
great,
read
man.
what comes in, okay?
He's filtering them all, guys. We have a folder in our Gmail that says Warlock Geography Lessons.
Don't tell them that. That's not fair.
Total joke.
Yeah, but Blind Elites, man, major props.
Yes,
that you were able
yes.
to play this game like you can with your disability. I would have never known if you didn't tell me. And I do hope that encourages others that may have disabilities that you can do something if you put your mind to it.
Cool.
Absolutely. Well, we've got some other
Cyborg.
big announcements and news, huh?
When we said this was a busy week, we weren't just talking about work.
No.
This was a busy, exciting week for the Derp fam and for the Destiny Reset podcast. Man, what happened?
Well, we got a little email from a little bird over at Bungie and said, "Hey, you want to be the Bungie community focus?" We're like,
what?
Yes, please.
The quickest DM response back in Twitter history.
Yeah, no doubt. So Cosmo over at Bungie reached out to us and very graciously offered us this opportunity. And so we put together a little snippet about the Derp fam with him, and got featured right on the front page of Bungie. tweeted out by the Bungie Twitter account. It was a pretty great feeling.
Oh man,
yeah, to get.
We're so thrilled. It's just it's so cool for the Derp fam.
Yeah, absolutely. To be able to show off how awesome our community is really important to us, and we're glad that they got the attention and recognition they deserved, as well as being able to talk about the show a little bit too, huh?
Yeah, it was great, man. I really feel like that write up. Cosmo did a great job organizing it and putting little tidbits in there, and we really hope you guys enjoyed what we put in there. And as we've mentioned, you saw the banner on there, the cool picture collage of the Derp fam with the shirts. So Cyborg and I just want to tell you guys, it did get cut off a little bit on their website, but you can check it out in announcements if you want to see the whole picture. And we are hoping to kind of tweak it a bit, so maybe it can be used.
Yeah, for like Twitter banners and stuff like that. We'll try to get a copy in you guys' hands, because we really liked that we were able to feature the fam itself right up there.
Yeah, so. I think a lot of Guardians got a the Derp fam vibe reading that piece, man.
No doubt. So if you're one of those Guardians, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Derp fam. We are happy to have you here. We had another cool thing we got to do, and that was Mr. Holdencourt, our community ambassador, got to be featured as the player focus of the week.
So cool.
Yeah, so he's right up there on the Bungie front page too. So if you're one of the
Derp fam, taking over.
Yeah, we took over that front page, guys. So go check out Holdencourt's really cool picture of his hunter up there on the front page before it's gone.
He may or may not have dressed that hunter up.
He did. He was like, I'm going to go get him ready just in case.
Yeah, that was really neat. Mm-hmm. What are you going to tell him here, man, that I haven't decided to decide yet?
We finally got our stuff together, guys. I am going to DestinyCon. It is settled and final.
Hype.
I will be there. I'll be there. I've got my travel plans all arranged, and I'm super stoked to go and meet a lot of the Derp fam, to go and meet a lot of community members, the Destiny community that I know virtually. But I'll finally get to shake their hand and hang out with them, and maybe meet some new people too. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be there that Saturday and probably Sunday too. And be spending some time doing things for the podcast and meeting people. I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to try to put up, some things along the way, some stuff on Vine, maybe even put together some YouTube stuff after it's all said and done, and maybe work to get some exclusive stuff for the podcast too.
Very cool.
Yep. And
I more than anything want to go, guys.
Yeah.
I pretty much almost have it lined out.
Yep.
I just need to make the decision.
So we'll let you guys know by next week.
Yes.
Sir.
It's a long drive for Cyborg. It's a little bit longer for me.
Mm-hmm.
Not much, a few hours, but it's so worth it.
It's gonna be totally worth it. Yeah.
I will let you guys know.
Yep. We had another really cool milestone that happened this week too, because as soon as that community focus went out, we got a ton of new listeners to the show. Mm-hmm. And we're very excited to see we hit number 2 on iTunes in video games.
Man. Number 2 in video games.
Yeah.
Number 5 in games and hobbies, right?
Yeah, man.
It's so cool. So cool.
That was really nice to see that happen. So we got to give a shout out to all the listeners that tuned in last week and made that happen. It was just really fun to see the thing that you create get in front of a lot of people. So
yes, thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Cyborg.
Yes. Air Knight.
How was your reset?
Had a good reset, man. I had a short one. We're recording this on a Friday night. And as we tell people sometimes, we get a lot of playtime in on the weekends, playing trials and getting other stuff done. So I got on a little bit this week and mostly played some Crucible, man. How about you?
Yeah, I didn't quite have as productive of a week as I did last
It'd be hard to top that week, right?
Yes, but I did fit in some Rumble. I've decided I listened to Terry a little bit, and he's been practicing practicing his hand cannon game in Rumble, and
Nice.
I forgot how fun and productive Rumble can be when you're trying to work on some things. So I jumped in some Rumble, goofed around, and I'm trying to also work on that. Is it the imprecation? Is that
Yep.
the last word? First curse? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
Imprecation.
trying to kind of plug away at that to finally get my first curse. So.
You should, man. You got to get all these
I know-
things knocked out before the new content.
It amazes me how like I just picked up my chaperone this week. Like if new listeners are listening to this podcast last week and this week, they're gonna be like, "How is this guy talking about Destiny? He doesn't have the first curse chaperone. He never got his
I know.
exotic sword.
It's some
I just spend too much time in the Crucible,
some
man.
key weapons that you can have some fun with, man. Especially the chaperone.
It's like I get what I like. I kind of goof around with different weapons, but then I settle on it and I just go to trials.
Yep.
I don't even get my sparrow out, man. We've talked about this.
I know. It's okay. Look, play the way that you like, you know?
Right.
Doesn't
I am so ready though we talked about this last week. I am ready and excited to jump in some fresh PvE stuff though.
Oh yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got into some Crucible the other night, and I got to give a shout out to my boys, my crew that I played with. Man, Fugly was there, Roving Warbeast, TX, Andy, man,
Oh,
the Matu. They had a great crew, guys. There was a few other guys too that jumped in. I'm sorry if I can't remember all your gamer tags right now. It was my first time meeting some of you guys, but gotta give a shout out to a fun group of Guardians on Xbox. There's some fun guys to play with. They carried me through Rift game. It was a lot of fun.
very cool, man.
Yeah, I needed that Rift win, man, because I can never get anybody to play Rift. I don't even like to play it, but but I had
don't play
like
it much either.
2 Shaq's weekly bounties that have been sitting in my inventory for a while that needed Rift wins to complete. So got those done. I got to get some weekly rewards just right on the spot.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually hoping to jump into some Challenge of Elders this weekend with my cousin has recently picked Destiny. He's played it throughout, but kind of breaks here and there. So we've got to get him geared up. So I think I'm going to jump in there and have some fun.
Do
Finally.
some of the challenge. Yeah,
Mhm.
you've been needing to jump in there.
I do.
It's kind of bad though because they have those random modifiers now. It's not as what would you call it? Kind of organized or
as friendly.
yeah,
or
probably
no?
not as friendly, not as friendly. But
Oh,
I'm sure
man.
you guys will still have some fun.
Yeah. I can't wait to jump in. I haven't played Challenge of Elders enough. We've talked about that.
Yeah. You can get
but,
some good gear through there. I have some pretty good guns
Yes.
that I really like for the Crucible too that you might like. Did you ever
Yeah,
get
apparently-
Soul Stealers?
No.
So you need to hope for that.
Yeah, and apparently this week too. I mean, you guys will be listening to this on the next reset, but this past reset right now, we can apparently beat it pretty quickly from what I've read. Like
Nice.
5 to 10 minutes a round or a playthrough. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
we're gonna try and get him geared up and farm some exotics. So
There you go, man.
have some fun with it.
That'd be fun for
That's
sure. Something else that we did is it took this to do it, but I got you to come over to play some Crucible on Xbox.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And our new buddy Cosmo over at Bungie was kind enough to carve out some time to play with me and Air Knight. So we got to give him a shout out for making time
Yes.
to do that. And
Played some threes.
had a good time. He's a good player, man.
He is, man. He's a good blade dancer. Yeah. He played well.
Yeah, good call outs, man, and
Mhm.
knows how to do some threes. So we enjoyed that for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was other than a couple of those things, it was a quick reset for me, man. I do want to actually give a shout out. Holden Court sent me this, but name is Julian, but it's everybitgaming.com. Very cool trials counter.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in a trials counter, I just wanted to give a real quick little shout out. It's the one Ignite and Dark HK use, but I'm hoping to drop that on my stream maybe tonight and see. It's that really cool one, man, that Ignite has. It's kind of a good size, and it's got the yellow black going on, of trials.
Yeah.
But,
So for those of you who don't know what that means, it's like a visual representation of where you are on your trials card.
yes.
That updates for you, so you don't have
People
to
don't have to ask you
in
100
chat.
times.
It's just right up there on your display of the
Yes.
stream, and you can see it's pretty cool, pretty nice. So yeah, Yeah, that's
very
pretty awesome. You got that set up.
chat-friendly features so that you guys don't have to wonder where in the heck we are in our cars.
Right.
Yep. So, anyways, very cool, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But I'm looking forward to getting into some Burning Shrine this weekend. How about you?
Yes, I'm. You know, we were talking about this on Twitter. We predicted this.
We were talking about it last night.
We predicted it was going to be Burning
we haven't
Shrine.
seen Burning Shrine in a while. I wonder if that'll come up.
There, and I said when we were chatting about it, there are a few maps that I would not like to see this often. So I'm okay with seeing Burning Shrine as often as we do.
Yeah, I can dig it, man. It's always fun to jump in there and slug it out.
People just know it so well, though.
Yeah,
their strategy is on point. Almost every team.
That's why
you play.
It gets really sweaty, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty fun stuff. So, man, what did you do? Anything else fun that you haven't mentioned this reset?
That's pretty much it. I'm hoping to jump right into Burning Shrine when we get done chatting about Destiny, man.
All right, man. Well, we better get this done so you can go play.
No, we don't need to rush, but I do love Trials.
All right, I know. Well, we've got a ton to talk about in news this week.
Oh my goodness!
You know, of course, the Game Informer coverage of Rise of Iron has continued, so we'll talk a little bit about some of the different content we've seen this week. But first of all, we had a little bit of some changes in the Crucible this week.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't think either of us probably played enough to fully say. I'll say for myself.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I did notice.
That's true.
I did notice Rumble for myself was rough last night when I played. So much so that I pretty much almost just said I'm gonna go to bed tonight.
Yep. So they rolled out the new matchmaking settings into the rest of the Crucible playlist. So it was just in control. And I remember we talked about this like a few weeks ago.
It's been a bit.
We weren't even sure if they kept the settings, but apparently they did. And they rolled out these new settings to all playlists besides Trials of Osiris. I know that in the few hours that I played last night, there was some rough connections in a lot of those games. I mean, the matchmaking was fine as far as, you know, the matchups. I was comfortable with them. I mean, in 3s, the matchups were sweaty. In 6s, the matchups were not purely skill-based, I feel.
Right.
But there was more red bars last night when I was playing than I normally do, for sure. So I don't know what it is necessarily that's affecting that, but it was kind of tough. And I saw, you know, a few times this week, some prominent players saying, look, there's some real problems going on here. And so hopefully they can kind of address some of those issues and adjust once again.
Well, you know, we're going to get I spend so much time in Trials, you know, I don't see a lot of these changes, but we're going to spend a lot of time in Iron Banner here soon.
Oh, so yeah.
We'll be able to test this out.
No doubt. So there's a really big stream coming up that they kind of told us in pretty short notice, but this coming Tuesday when this episode drops, August 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So you may even see that stream before you catch this episode.
Listening.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, today's the day, guys. You need to watch it.
It's today. So a Crucible live stream featuring Steve Cotton and Lars Bakken is going to happen while they're at Gamescom way over there in Europe. And there's going to be 2 fire teams going head-to-head while they discuss the new mode, some of the new maps, and new features. So I think everybody's expecting to hopefully see the custom matchmaking announced.
Yeah, if you guys haven't, if any of you haven't been following it real close, they've kind of built up that they're going to reveal something
big. Something big, yeah.
So we will see.
They also mentioned that they're also going to premiere at that time a Bungie vid doc exploring player experience in Rise of Iron. So it's not wholly going to be focused on the Crucible.
What do you think they mean by player experience? They're not going to show us probably I mean,
I think
they're not going to show us questing.
Yeah, I think it's it's their vid docs are usually kind of behind the scenes talking with different players, key players in the development of an expansion, talking about their philosophy of what they're trying to achieve and different ways that they're going about doing that. And me and you have talked about even last episode how they're really building on the options that are available to players and how to give players different ways to play the game and still be rewarded. So I imagine it's going to be along that theme.
I think you're probably right. I love watching those, though.
No, I enjoy them a lot.
Of course we do also before the content drops. But
right, yeah. But I really, really enjoy hearing about the decision-making process of how they develop this content and what the philosophies or the driving force behind the decisions they make are. It's really, really interesting to me. So I'm going to look forward to that.
Well, yeah, and I mean, even the words player experience, I feel like we're getting to such a place in Destiny now where it's getting so refined.
Oh, yeah.
The way we experience the game, and just it's such a good place.
No doubt.
Yep.
And along those lines, we got a tweet, I think it was even today from Bungie, and it just said flat out, wouldn't it be cool if you could pick whether you wanted armor or weapons from faction packages?
I quoted the tweet and said, Bungie, you guys are going to have to slow down.
I know.
This is fantastic.
I know. CG, at CG Barrett, the director on Rise of Iron, tweeted that out. And he showed a picture too. And it showed you, having like 3 different options to pick from on the screen. I thought that's a great.
Well, I just love that they listen to the feedback from the community, but also it's not even, that's my first thought, but they play the game. They tell us they play the game.
Yeah.
So, they're experiencing this stuff too. All this armor they're getting when they want a Crucible weapon.
Dude, I cannot tell you, I'm serious. It's got to be dozens of Crucible helmets from Shax.
Oh, I just got another one the other night.
It is so obscene, so I'm so happy about this.
I want a hand cannon with Icarus so bad,
man.
like Terry has, and I just keep getting helms.
Give me some guns, man. So another thing went down this week. It was Galahorn Day 2016 on the Destiny the Game subreddit over at reddit.com. If you're around last year, here's what happened. Xur finally sold Galahorn on this date in 2015. And the subreddit just went mad. The mods said, all right, this is such a big day, we're gonna not work today. And told the community that, and things went nuts. I mean, there was just, pardon my French, shit posting galore. And it got turned into a Club Penguin design on the subreddit. It was just crazy. So they celebrated it again to commemorate that today. And there was a lot of funny stuff going down. But I thought it was pretty cool. Cosmo put up a post on there saying, hey, if you give us this many upvotes, me and Deej will do a cool post. So they did a little shout out to the Reddit community, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
So shout out to those guys, especially all the mods over there that we're buddies with, and that do a lot of work in that subreddit. Sorting through all the nonsense and curating material and creating a fun place for people to go.
I visit other subreddits of other games, and I instantly am just like, whoa, I am not comfortable right They have spoiled me.
They do a really great job, man. Those guys put in a lot of work, so we got to give a shout out to them. And we'll see one of those guys on the show pretty soon here.
Yes, of course.
That's right. So
more Rise of
Iron news, guys. So we had a few different pieces of content in this week, and even
I'm trying to catch up myself, man.
Yeah.
Like I can't keep up.
There's
with
a lot
some of this stuff.
There's a lot. So one was a written article, and it was 3 days exploring Rise of Iron. So a lot of the stuff is commentary just on what they felt, but I grabbed a handful of things that were very notable that I thought were great from the article.
Some of these are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just flat out cool.
Yeah, so one, right at the beginning of the article is Lord Saladin is going to sell what are called iron engrams. And those engrams are going to have year 1 and 2 Iron Banner items. So if there was a piece of your collection that you could never get, or maybe you weren't even around at that point, he'll sell those, and you'll have a chance at getting something. So
yeah, that was my first question. The year 1 obviously are just for the collectors, right? Because there's nothing you can do with them beyond. I mean, you could use them in casual sweaties or Crucible.
I have to assume if it's year 1 stuff, it's going to come at lower light, but
right.
I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. I'd be pretty intrigued if I was able to get a year 1 Warlock armor set that I could actually wear, because that was one of my favorites. It was really cool. Really cool.
I was just thinking the other day, like I wonder when I go through my vault before this DLC drops, like if I'm missing any pieces of different sets of the old gear,
Yeah. I know I have all of them, but
yeah, like I know I accidentally, I don't know how, I mentioned this forever ago, but I accidentally deleted my Vault of Glass Titan helm.
Yeah.
So I eventually have to go back and get that, but that's a side note.
Yeah. Also, they mentioned there's going to be who is described as Cade 6's buddy, Shiro 6, is going to be over there in the Fellwinter Peak, and he'll have bounties that are specific to the Plague Lands, and then he's also going to sell some class items, and these class items are pretty much similar to the year 1 Iron Banner class items.
Very cool.
So that's pretty cool. We get to bring some of those old school ones back with updated light levels. So that'd be pretty fun. What about this?
Customized galore, man.
What about this next one, man? Did you check this out? The Eververse
I'm confused.
artifacts.
I'm a little confused by it.
Well, from what I understand, that Eververse is going to sell some artifacts that are only cosmetic. How do they sell everything else?
Well, how is an artifact only cosmetic?
Well, I think the point of these is that they're going to give you certain abilities that are not made for gameplay.
Okay.
Here's the example. The one specifically they mention is called the Golden Age Lens, and it allows you to apply filters to your in-game views, such as a sepia filter or a blue filter. So this is going to be really cool for people that like to do the machinima or take cool gameplay clips and stuff like that. These are things that people have actually asked for. Hey,
I'm all for cosmetic only.
Yeah, so that was just one that they mentioned, and I don't know what else they'll offer, but I thought that was a interesting way to implement that mechanic ability in the game.
Yeah, you take that and no HUD and
I mean, you can do some cool stuff.
Very cool.
Something else
just about vault space.
Yeah, something else notable that we pulled out of there, and one of our community members, Matty Misfit, pointed out on Twitter that the writers of the article said specifically that they inquired about vault space, and the developers said there is no plans for extra vault space at this time.
Well, see, and they hinted forever ago that vault space wouldn't be a problem.
Well, that was the quote. Vault space will no longer be a problem. So that has started to get me thinking about if both those statements are true, and no one has misspoke. What is going to happen is my best guess is that the vault maybe will become like a place where you just archive stuff. And everything else is stored some other way.
Well, people have talked about that too. I think we've even talked about it. Is you've got your whole collection of your Vault of Glass raid gear, right?
Right.
Like, why not just put that at a kiosk that says you did actually get it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to wear
Pretty
that,
sure you mentioned that.
And I'm not worried about what the stats are on them. And I'm not going to really use them, but I want to keep them. So maybe they'll either let us store that in a kiosk and the gear we want to use stay in the vault, or vice versa. So I don't know. We'll just have to see, I guess.
I definitely think there is an angle here that we can figure out.
There's something.
Like you said, those two different statements.
There's something there. I don't I just have a hard time believing they're not going to touch that issue at all.
Well, I can tell you, I'm sure like many Guardians, that at some point, I'm going to have to carve out some time to clean up.
My vault is stocked to the brim, man.
It is. I have like one space left sometimes in my weapons, and I've got some infusion fuel in there that's no longer infusion fuel that I need to get rid of. I just need to take the time to do it.
Yeah. That's what I've been trying to do slowly but surely, but then I turn around again and it's full. So,
give us if they want to give us more vault space, just let us create another character.
There you go. Let me just have one character that's just a pack, pack animal.
four to spread it out.
There you go.
Upon.
There you go. I mean, that's what my Titan basically is right now. I keep a bunch of junk on them.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts, Cyborg.
Oh man, I didn't mean it.
Gotta play on that Titan
I didn't mean
more.
it. I didn't mean it in a mean way, but it's true. It's true. Well, the last thing that I thought that was noticeable is they did give us the name of the new strike. It's called the Wretched Eye.
Pretty cool.
And they take us on some pathways through old missile silos to fight devil splicers. So
the devil splicers.
The devil splicers.
So this video I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty short, unless I saw an abbreviated version of it. It's pretty short,
it was
wasn't it?
just a few minutes. Touring Fellwinter Peak with Chris Barrett and Scott Taylor, the director and producer.
I instantly was thinking, okay, I'm looking at the remastered version of Skyrim. That space is so cool. It's so different than anything we've had.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
There was just outside and the snow and the wolves. And
got a cool look. Yeah.
So cool.
And this video came up on Monday, which is after we recorded, but before the episode dropped. So we hadn't seen this at this point last week, but they had some cool little tidbits. This is a guest that I had something similar to this, but Iron Banner is definitely going to be held in Fellwinter Peak from now on.
And that's neat. Yeah. They even said in the in that video that you guys need to watch it because it had pretty cool little hints in there. Mm-hmm. But the wolves, the logo of them facing each other, they even have like a little area where they kind of expand on that a little bit and kind of just really bring in the vibe of Iron Banner. So it totally makes sense that we're going to go there now too.
Yeah, definitely. There's even that special events area. So I imagine that would be related to it. But they also mentioned there's, some of the important things like your postmaster, your bounty robot, whatever his name is. There's going to be a Cryptarch, and I even saw in the video an Eververse console. But you know what they didn't mention or show?
What's that?
A vault.
Oh, yeah?
So that made me think a little bit.
Yeah, they again said, just like we heard back when we got the Reef, that the tower will still be a place you need to go to. Mm-hmm. So it is weird, though, that we didn't see a vault, because we do have that in the Reef.
You think out of all those things, they would mention that as an important thing.
Maybe they just bypassed it thinking it's a given.
I think there's something there. But then they showed another cool thing, and this kind of... so last episode, I was kind of talking about how I thought maybe you could do something special if you lit up all the Iron Lord characters with your artifacts, but then they showed this other thing, which are these bells that you can ring.
This is neat.
And they have different tones. And then Scott Taylor was like, yeah, and maybe if you hit them in a certain order, something might happen.
Yeah, then he looked at him and he was like, really? And then it fades out.
Yeah. So I think this could be even more likely that might give you control or, access to that special events area. Mm-hmm. Who knows? But it looks like it'd be a fun thing to play with.
Yeah, I'm excited about the social space. We're always excited about the content, but I kind of nerd out on the social spaces. Yeah. Just because you spend so much time there.
Yeah, you spend so much time there. It's great for them in turn to spend time on giving you a cool place to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So last, there was a thing that came out today on Friday, which I thought this was they had mentioned they're doing a video talking with the raid team about their philosophies of the raid, but it was actually a roundtable interview with the Rise of Iron writing team.
Yeah, this was like almost an hour long, right?
Yeah,
I haven't had a chance to watch it
I think
yet.
it's like 51 minutes. So I'm only about 20 minutes into it because I was trying to get through it before the show. But so here's what we had. We had lead writer Chris Schlurf, senior writer Christine Thompson, and writer Jill Shar, and then they had cinematic lead Matthew Ward. So it was really cool to get to see those guys sit down, put faces and names that I've never even, seen exposed before, and hear them just talk about the passion that they have for the story of this game. Really makes me feel great about the direction that Rise of Iron could go.
Well, the Grimoire is just so amazing, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, and they specifically mentioned the Grimoire. And, one thing I really thought was notable is that they love to see what a lot of the fan base does when they consume the lore in the Grimoire and then, talk about it and expand upon it and craft theories. And they mentioned specifically that they want to take what they hear from people and really service the stories that they're interested in and build on what they see the community do with these things. And I thought that was really cool.
I cannot wait to get a Destiny novel.
I hope it really comes, man, because there's so much interesting
so many different storylines to pursue, and oh man, I even came across this week. We know, AKA Manny G, one of our Dirt Fam admins. He's a World of Warcraft player. I think he may even be dabbling back in a little bit, but I'm not certain about that. But anyways, I came across for the new expansion that's coming out for WoW, they have a story podcast where they're releasing lore and stories about it before it's. Well, I actually don't know the release date of it, but it's like #1 in video games.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I'm like, please,
so isn't that
give
like
us something like this?
So it's kind of a audio novella bridging between the last and the new expansion.
Can you imagine if I would listen to it multiple times if it was Destiny.
Was it Halo that did something like this too? Before the game went out, there was some high-profile game.
Well, they had the actual movie,
but somebody did an audio thing, and I can't remember what game it was.
I'm thinking of Forward Unto Dawn,
or am I thinking about Overwatch? Maybe, I don't know.
Overwatch had a lot of shorts.
Somebody
that
did
made me
some
want to buy
audio
the game.
stuff that I thought was pretty cool. Before it wasn't a game I was playing, but I thought the concept was great because it was like hugely popular.
Well, of course we wanted to focus on the game first, but
yeah,
boy, would I love to have some of these other things to do at lunch or while I'm driving.
I would too, man. So the writing team really conveyed that they are passionate about building the Grimoire too. It's kind of like it seemed like they made it seem like it was a really cool privilege for them to build that out because they know how much people enjoy it. But one important thing I gleaned is they really focused on Aphrodite.
Ooh.
And they talked, and they didn't really say why, but Aphrodite, for some reason, seems to be a central character to the Rise of Iron story. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears open for what you might hear about that, because if you're into the lore, Aphrodite seems to be important.
Well, if we're going to continue the Dirt Fan pattern, we already had the subclan Fellwinter locked down, and Aphrodite's been up twice in the vote.
I know.
So
that could really
we may
influence
have to make that happen.
Hopefully, Aphrodite is important for a good reason and not a bad reason.
Yes, true.
That could affect it. But lastly, something I gleaned from just the first 20 minutes is that it's really important to them in Rise of Iron that the player is front and center in the events that unfold, and the player is, in their words, a catalyst for the change that happens throughout that story. And I thought that was interesting because a lot of people complain at some points that the Guardian or yourself as the character doesn't have enough personality. It doesn't have enough agency as a character, that you're a guardian and you're just there, following orders and doing a job, but there's nothing special about you.
Right.
And I found it interesting that they brought up, how important that is. And I hope that, that really kind of turns that corner for some people.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's exciting stuff, man. I guess we're sitting here talking about getting, novels and story podcasts, but at least this stuff's really cool.
Yeah,
these vidocs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it really is. I enjoy this stuff a lot, as you can tell, because I'm talking all about it. So
yeah, I can't wait to watch this one.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
I may just have to listen to it while I drive. It kind of
you can definitely listen to it. I mean, they're showing the people talk, and then they'll intersperse different clips and stuff. But I don't think there's anything that you'll miss on, entirely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that might be what I do.
There you go, man. So now that we've gotten through all this, let's talk about the TWAB.
Let's do it. We've got a few things in there.
Yeah, first thing I noticed right away is that the banner image they put up.
Mm-hmm.
They have your original ship that you get right when you start the game, and it looks like it's a reskin version. It's golden, and if you look at some of the body, you can see the Iron Banner kind of I don't know if you would call it the sigil, but some of the design aesthetic built into it. So I think they're showing off.
Yeah, you instantly tweeted that out.
I think they're showing off a new ship, and it's really cool looking, man.
I still rock that old ship. I just was when we played last night on Xbox.
Yeah,
that OG ship. Was it Manny that tweeted you and said, "Is that a gun on the bottom?"
He did. Yeah, there is a gun on the bottom.
It's like, hold on a second.
They put guns on a lot of them, though.
Yeah. That one just boom right there. It's like, can I just shoot that? Fly around?
Can I just do a little pew pew pew? You know what I'm saying?
Well, we also learned about the team that's gonna be at
Gamescom.
At this Gamescom where we're gonna get a stream.
So who do we got? Who do we got that's gonna be there?
We've got you wanna go through them? We'll take turns here.
Okay, you start.
Steve Cotton.
And what does he do? He
is the world lead designer. We've seen him on a stream before. I think the last stream.
Yeah, he was up there. Next up, we got Lars Bakken, Crucible lead designer.
Good old Lars. Mm-hmm. Scott Taylor, executive producer.
Yep. Sheik Wang, who is the art director.
Jesse Van, what do we got?
I would say Digic,
concept art lead.
Yep.
It looks like they've had some recent professional pictures taken.
Yeah, they still look pretty good. And then next up, Jerry Hook, who is the live team lead, formerly over at Xbox.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Of course, Irk, community guy.
Yep. And good old Deej,
the beard.
Community guy. So got a good group of guys going out there. So I think this definitely shows they're going prepared. Mm-hmm. They're definitely going to be showing off some stuff. And they've mentioned, keep an eye out for that live stream, but they're also going to be having tons of interviews and different stuff that go on all week long. So I'm sure there'll be a ton of stuff.
I love that they say they'll be jet lagged, so there's no telling what details we might let slip.
Yeah. But then they go on, we're going to have some Iron Banner drop next week.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so pumped, man, because it is the finale hand cannon.
Yep. And it's the last Iron Banner before Rise of Iron, I believe. Mm-hmm. I believe.
And it's Clash.
Yep. Clash. And for anybody that's interested, if you saw this article and you're looking at the gear and you're like, those aren't the normal Iron Banner colors. Somebody from Bungie tweeted that this shader that is applied is the Valsgard shader. It's kind of like a bronzish color.
Looks good.
Oh, it's really good looking. I don't think I have this one, but I would love to get it.
I'm going to check tonight when I log on.
Yeah,
it looks pretty sharp. Just so you guys know, I've mentioned him before, but our buddy Terry on the admin team, he's been testing hand cannons like crazy. And I've been doing it myself. Lord High Fixer, IS Luna, and the Finala.
Yeah.
The Finala, apparently, according to him, is better all around. So play some Iron Banner and try to get a good drop on this hand cannon.
Yeah. And we've got the
Definitely.
shotgun up too. And I can't remember what the year 2 name of this shotgun is.
Is it Deidre's
Retort?
Retort? Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
There you go. Good job. Same model as the original Fellwinter's Live, but I'm
Still
sure.
have that
I wonder
Fellwinter's.
what the perks are going to be. I'd be interested to know.
I'm pumped. I'm gonna be playing some Iron Banner this go around. So
Yeah, me too.
Get ready, Dirt Fam.
Get in for some Clash.
And
mentioned
I prefer Clash.
Yeah, I know. They mentioned Iron Banner is going to start a couple hours late. They're going to be doing some maintenance this Tuesday coming up, August 16th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So when that completes, I'm assuming at, I guess it would be 11 a.m. Iron Banner will launch later on that morning.
Man, think about this. I'm just sitting here thinking about this while we're talking about Iron Banner. Iron Banner right now, next month we have Rise of Iron. The next month we have Festival of the Lost.
Yep.
And then 2 months after that we have Sparrow Racing League.
No doubt, man. It's gonna be
That's exciting.
It's going to be a fun fall and winter.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Can't wait, man. It's going to be
Very cool.
It's be a great time. A lot of new players coming in, a lot of old players returning. Get the old gangs back together. It's going to be a ton of fun, man. A lot of things to talk about too.
Such a great game.
Well, I think that covers the news this week, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of news.
All right, man. Yeah, it was a lot of news. So we've got a guest coming up,
Special guest,
and we'll introduce him when he comes in.
Let's do it, man.
All right, listeners, we have a very special guest here with us today. Is Mr. Fallout Plays. Say hello, Mr. Fallout.
Hey, how are you?
Doing all right, man.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me here.
Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah. So we will start with the usual obligatory questions about you. So we'd like to know, what brought you into gaming?
Oh man, well this is probably the time where I give that really generic answer that everybody gives, where I played a lot of GoldenEye, I played a lot of Halo.
Mm-hmm.
GoldenEye.
Yeah, Lance played a lot of that, man.
We're instantly, we know we're the same age.
Yeah.
Right away. But yeah, loved gaming my whole life. Played all the classic shooters, I think. Just love
Nice.
online gaming, and that's why I'm here.
Is there a particular game that really stands out in the pack and through history that you love?
It's such a boring answer. I really loved Halo. Although the recent games I was not really a fan of. I love like old school Halo.
Yeah, original Combat Evolved.
1 and 2 are like my favorite games ever.
Yeah, I can get behind that for sure.
I gotta ask you a question, man. A quick question about GoldenEye. Did you play that game so much that you knew where people spawned depending on what room, what gun was in the room they were in?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember those days?
Love it.
Like, oh, I know he's in the basement. I see the gun that's spawned there in front of him.
I had a really terrible time playing FPS on N64 because I could not adjust to that controller.
Yep.
And a lot of them were standard inverted, and I cannot play inverted.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not-
I was fine with that part of it.
yeah.
It was we were just talking about this at my work the other day. It was the C buttons, and then the directional button actually made you look around.
Right.
Can you imagine trying to use that right now?
Oh man.
Growing up, I thought it was
Anyways.
the best controller ever.
Oh, yes.
ever. And then, I got an original Xbox and I played that for a long time. And then I was like, man, you know what? I want to go back and play some GoldenEye today. And I picked up the controller and I was like, how did I use this?
Yeah, it's like a claw.
It was definitely different, Well, what you would be what I would consider a content creator. So where did you get your start in YouTube and all the other ways that you create content for people?
Well, I actually did start with Halo because I was in this kind of mini gaming community with a bunch of my friends, and the Master Chief Collection was about to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people who I played with started with Halo 3 or later. And I kind of wanted to teach them all the really cool stuff about Halo 1. And I was like, hey, you know what would be neat if I put it all together in like a video?
Yeah.
And yeah, I put down everything, like every little neat trick and tactic and whatever about Halo 1 that I knew into a video.
Nice.
And shared it with them. And they were like, wow, this is pretty good. You should put this on Reddit. And I did, and they took it really, really well. And I was playing Destiny a lot at the time. And I thought, well, why don't I do that for Destiny? I really love this game, and there's a lot of stuff that I could probably dive into.
Yeah, you the thing that I am impressed the most with about your content creation is just the sheer volume of guides that you have out there, which have to take a significant amount of time to put together. I've over the time that I've played Destiny, and since I've known about you, have spent a lot of time watching those, and they're extremely helpful. And I think this is where you sometimes get the moniker, right? The Crucible scientist.
Yeah, that's what they call me sometimes.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Good.
Yeah, that's a cool name to have. You're pretty vocal too about you're not just gonna make a video to make a video. It's like Cyborg said, you're gonna have some meaty content and
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's obviously noticeable.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to throw shade at anybody, and I never will. But like, there were times where before I got into content creation too much, I was really thinking about it. I was like, oh man, I really like the Sunsinger, but I was like, what perks do I want to use? You know what I mean? Like, what's a good perk? What are the details on this perk? I was like, I know. I'll look up a guide. So I hop on the internet, the old interwebs, and I'm looking for guides, and some of them are pretty good, but most of them were just footage of people playing, and it wasn't really relative or relevant footage, just kind of standard footage of someone walking around the tower or being in the Cosmodrome, and then it's like, oh yeah, well this perk is okay, and this perk is kind of dumb, and this perk is good, and the whole guide was like 2 minutes, and I was like, that's not enough. That's not, like, I didn't learn anything, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, well, what is the real meat of any subclass? So it's like, how much damage does it do? How long does this perk last for? Like, is it really worth using? I just decided that I really wanted to get involved to such a deep level where I would really help people understand, because sometimes in Destiny, they're a little vague about certain perks, certain weapons, and what the perks do and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah. Well, I think one of the main reasons that I'm kind of averse to YouTube content is the amount of fluff. And when I find a good creator that isn't just shoveling a bunch of fluff at all their viewers, I always subscribe immediately, because when I open a video, and I'm sure that many people will tell you this, you don't have a lot of time to grab the people's attention.
That's true.
But for me, you don't have a lot of time to show me whether or not you're gonna teach me something, or I'm gonna learn something new. And you do a really great job at offering a lot of value in your videos, and so I have to commend you for that.
Thank you.
I just watched your Striker vid again the other day.
Yeah.
A few months old, but
still holds up.
Yeah, still holds up.
But I have to say, on the nature of fluff, I don't want to feel like I'm better than anybody, because a lot of my favorite YouTubers do have fluff. And I just have to say, as a content creator, the more I make videos, the more I understand. It's like, it's the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? I love the content creators in Destiny. They're such great people. And for a lot of them, this is their full-time job.
Right.
And I understand that if you were only to do like really deep, meaty videos, it just takes up a ton of time. And many of them do, which is great. And I totally understand. Every now and then, get a little fluff, because some people in the community really do enjoy it. I just understand it's like it's the nature of the beast.
But that's going to be hard for somebody to do if they do this full time and they need to post every day.
Yeah,
I understand you can't do awesomely delivered, full-fledged guide on something every single day. Not only because it's a ton of work, but you're eventually going to run out of stuff to talk about.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, plus, as we know, it's always entertaining to see what videos get the most clicks, right?
That's true.
What viewers end up watching the most.
Very true.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, we always ask, we got to ask you, favorite class and gun in Destiny.
Oh, I always have such trouble answering this question because I like to play everything. It's such a boring answer. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Warlock. I don't think they're the coolest class in the game, though. I do think that I think that Hunter is coolest class for sure.
I was about to say
Hunters are cool.
Cyborg
Hunters
has
want
got
to
to
be
be talking to our guests before they come on the show, but then you followed it with they're not the coolest class, so we're good.
But I just been playing Warlock lately because I do a lot of sweats with my
They're
friends.
fun.
They are fun. I really do enjoy them. I do sweats with my friends. My brother, even though he hasn't played in a while, but he is a titan. And one of the things in scrimmaging and competitive play is that there's like no duplicate subclasses allowed. And
Right.
if I would play a titan, it would definitely be a striker. But because my brother kind of plays that and he really enjoys it, and I like that he plays a subclass that he really enjoys, so I just stick Warlock.
Nice.
Never get the chance.
One day. One day.
So what about your favorite gun, or what gun are you really showing some affection for right now?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You know, I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but I think my favorite gun of all time is probably Pocket Infinity.
Nice.
Nice answer.
Such a fun gun. I know a lot of people have really bad memories of getting burned by that gun in PvP.
Yeah.
And I definitely contributed to giving a lot of those bad memories, which I kind of apologize for. But oh god, it was such a fun gun.
Oh,
To
yeah.
just completely, you just duct tape the trigger down and you walk into a room with a blindfold and you just melt half the people in the room. Oh god, so
Yeah,
enjoyable.
it's a fun one. It's a fun one. Well, you also have some other extracurricular activities. I've seen that you are a mod on the subreddit Crucible Playbook.
I am, yeah.
Have you been a mod over there for a long period, or is that a newer development?
I think it's been like a year.
Okay,
Oh,
so
wow.
from early on over there, and you may have seen him. He puts up a lot of really great posts, but his username is Shitbeard the Pirate.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I did not know that was you.
I made that a long time ago.
Can you give me some background on that?
I can't even remember. It just
It was a Reddit username. You probably didn't give a crap. Right?
not. I mean, I think I was out to dinner with a friend one time, and there was some guy at a table a couple tables away, and he was laughing like a pirate. And my friend was just nudging me. He's like, "Dude, listen, the next time this guy laughs, he laughs like a pirate." And he did, and he was laughing like a pirate. We thought it was the funniest thing ever. And he was just kind of like, he must have had a long day because he was just tired, a little dirty, and he had like food in his beard. And he didn't really care. So
I think that might be too many characters for a gamer tag, so you must have not kept it.
yeah, no, I don't know. I think Reddit has a long, proud history of coming up with ridiculous usernames, and I just wanted to be a part of that.
It's true. Well, you did a great job there. But you may have seen, if you frequent that subreddit, you may have seen some awesome posts that he puts together. Some that I really enjoyed from a few months ago was testing on recent Voidwalker energy drain buff. That one was super helpful because I Voidwalk a lot. And my favorite was the list of all snipers that are now capable of revive sniping.
Yes.
That was a fun one to make,
Yeah,
for sure.
I was waiting with bated breath to see if my glass promontory was going to be able to res snipe, and it did.
Everybody was asking that question. That they're all probably so happy when you made that video.
Yeah, the only reason I made it was because made it so quickly because so many people were hitting me up. They were like, "Oh my god, you're definitely doing this, right?" And I was like, "Well, I guess I am now."
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and for listeners who aren't familiar, Fallout will really get into the Crucible and come up with real raw data on perks, on armor, on guns, which is something that maybe not a lot of people pay attention to, but he can really derive some conclusions on, what's viable, what can be a great build or a great gun to use in a particular circumstance. Where do you get your, your stance and attitude on how you test things out in the Crucible? I mean, I'm not like a very data-driven person, so I do a lot of based off of instinct. But for you, you get out there and you want to know the raw numbers. What is it that motivates you to do those?
I mean, it's part helping people know exactly what it is that they're choosing. Mm-hmm. And part of it is just for community clarity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes it's just me sitting down thinking about, man, I would really love to dig deep into, like, I don't know, the Striker Titan or a helmet like the Ram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that. But then the other half is I'm just on YouTube, I'm on Reddit, and I read these comments and people just say things. And they're like, oh, well, this gun, has a hidden perk. Did you know that? And it does this. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. Like, do you have video showing that? I would love to see it. And they're like, no, I don't. But I just know. And that happens so often, I can't tell you. And I'm just like,
Right.
You know what? I'm going to find out on my own. I want to help people out. I want to know for sure. I want to know the truth. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. So you get out there and test it.
I sure do.
Yeah, I've followed you on Twitter for a long time, and probably the most common tweet I see is, okay, I'm on Xbox. I need 3 people with this gun.
Yep.
You're out there on the regular testing stuff, and I just have to give you props and admire the effort you put up, because that's just a lot of time.
It is. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
And while I have this podium for this opportunity, I would like to thank the people who are my routine group of testers. Every now and then, I have a couple new people come in because they're just like, oh, I just saw your tweet. Like, I love your YouTube channel. You're like, can I just help? I would love to help. Please shoot me in the face. So I'm like, okay, dummies. Yeah, dude, I'll shoot you.
Well, give some shout outs. What are their names?
Pat, Retrack, Lely, Alium, Ben. There's so many more who I know I'm going to forget on the spot. But if you're one of my testing regulars, you know who you are. And I really appreciate all the work that you guys help me with.
We appreciate you all letting him shoot you in the face so that we can get the facts of Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
Raw data.
Well, we got to give a big thank you to all those guys from the whole community, because them helping you do that gives people a lot more knowledge into how the Crucible functions. Sure. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So you have another somewhat loose mantra that I've heard about, and it's, if I remember correctly, it's anyone can play.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me more about that?
Well, I mean, something that I'm trying to do, other than helping people learn the mechanics of the game a little better, trying to encourage people to improve their mental game, which is kind of something we can talk about later if you want to. It's like I gave out Twitter homework. I don't know if you saw that, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's part of strengthening people's mental game. And something that I see all the time is people, because I'm a moderator, like I said, on Crucible Playbook, and some people are just looking for basic advice. And some of them kind of hit rock bottom. And it's really sad to see in a way, because they're like, I keep trying to get to the lighthouse. I can't. I'm getting bodied. I just feel like, why try? And it stinks to feel like that. And I know what it feels like, because I've played games before where you really want to get into it, but it's just really hard right off the bat. Mm-hmm. And I just want to try to encourage people to understand that anyone can play, because all you have to do is just spend a little time and think about it and learn and practice. That's the key part. But everyone starts off at the bottom. Everyone. Now, right. there are different levels. I mean, if you have a friend who's really just naturally good at video games, everyone kind of has a friend like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And he picks up a new game. He's not amazing at it, but he's learning it quicker than someone normally would. That'll happen. but for the most part, everyone starts off at the bottom, and that's okay. You have to just push past that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're right. It's such a mental thing too, because it's almost like something that just clicks, I feel like for people, they accept that they're getting better, and then they start to see the progress, and they've worked on things.
Yeah.
And, I'm right there with you in Trials too. On another layer of it is, finding a team you're cozy and comfortable with, and I'm like, every week I'm like, I hear the Trials stories and they're just not having fun, and I'm like, man, I want everyone to experience the game mode and the fun that it can be. You know? Yep. I mean, it can be rough sometimes, but when you've got the right team and you're positive and you're working on your game, even if you lose every game, it's it still can be a fun experience.
That's kind of why I did an event a while back that I was really proud of called Intro to Sweats. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but I did. Huge community effort. There were so many people who helped me. Crucible Radio, those guys are really fun, and M Tash was in there, and Ramblin' and Dr. Lupo were in there. It was so much fun, and basically the reason that I wanted to organize that, and I think sometime in the future I may do another one, but it was because I had heard a lot of people saying stuff like, oh, well, I've heard about sweats, but like I don't know anybody who does it, and I'm kind of like not maybe a little bit intimidated. I don't want to let anybody down. Because,
right.
Like, you don't want to go into a game with a team who has played before and you haven't, and then you do bad and you're nervous. Like, oh, are they going to kick me out? Yada, yada. So I just organized something like that where, like, the doors were open to anyone and just come play with me. We'll do sweats. But they're, like, fun sweats, you know what I mean? Because I know the people who we're playing against, and everyone goes in with the mentality of, oh, we're going to learn together. And I've had people who reached out to me who were like, oh, you know what? I didn't know what I was afraid of. It was so much, like, I didn't know that playing like that could be that much fun. I just had a blast, and these people, like, made friends and new contacts.
See, that's so great.
Yeah.
It's just like a sport, like people are nervous, and if you give them that setting where they know they don't have to be, and they're just going to go in and have fun, like you said, it just takes it all away, and they play, have fun, and get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know a number of the Derp fam, when you hosted that event, jumped in for their first taste of sweats. I had a number of people come and tell us in Discord that I played with Fallout, or I played with Ramblin', or this or that, and they're all hyped up and told us how much they love sweats. So that was a great idea.
It's just really cool too to take those players that we know are pretty darn good and put them in a setting where they're making players that aren't feeling super comfortable, just have fun trying something out that they want to.
Totally.
Yeah. But to circle back around, I just want to say, the concept of anyone can play, I think, is a great mantra to keep in people's mind, because as a player that has come a long way from the beginning, I know what it felt like to just absolutely suck.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I've gotten to where I'm of an average skill level, so I can play and I can have some confidence and have fun. But I think the toughest thing for a lot of players that are just starting out is they have to pay their dues, and the dues are up front and they're heavy, and you take so much punishment, and it's easy for a lot of people to walk away and just say, it's not for me, it's not fun, I don't want to do it.
Sure.
Well, that's the thing too, is Destiny is so, the PvP keeps us, between the DLC content, right? And if you're playing PvP, you don't feel it quite as bad. And
right.
I mean, I talk about, I've mentioned this on the show before, but as much as I talk about Trials and sweats and playing in the Crucible, I still remember jumping in my first skirmish match way back and thinking, okay, I'm never playing skirmish again. Luckily, I did jump back in, but
yeah.
You just have to remember that sucking is the first step to being good.
No doubt.
Sometimes it's a long step, but it's always the first step.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to put it, man. But you mentioned your homework, and we're familiar with what you're talking about here, but tell the community what this concept was that you just put out in the community recently.
Sure. Yeah, it was I don't know, it was a combination of I had seen a lot of negativity kind of going on, and it really originated from this point where I was trying to help people strengthen their mental game in a unique way. And I was just thinking, okay, how can I do that? And what I decided on doing was, after a game which you've lost in PvP, I want you to sit back and just think for a minute, and then I want you to send a message to someone on the other team who just beat you and tell them, compliment them on something they did right in the game. Either a good play, good move, good win, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a 2-reason homework assignment, you know what I mean? Reason one being, I think that a lot of people limit their competitive growth in PvP by, there's really no easy way to say this, by only making excuses. And it's okay when that happens to you, because it happens to everybody, but you have to get beyond that. You have to push yourself out of that zone. If you lose a game and the only thing that you're saying after losing the game is, well, I only lost because they were using X weapon. I only lost because they were using X subclass. You know, they're being cheap. They're playing unfair, yada yada. Like, you just don't stop to think about, well, what did they do right? What did I do wrong? You know what I mean? If you only exist in that salty mentality where you just make excuses and you don't think about improving, then you're not going to improve.
Right.
So I wanted to do that to encourage people to just stop, realize, hey, it's okay. Everybody loses, because it's true. Everybody does lose every now and then, or, you know, a lot, depending on your skill level, and that's totally fine. And think about what they did right. And the second reason was that it usually spreads a little positivity, even in yourself. If you just admit to yourself, okay, you know what? They played well, but it's okay, because I'm going to get better. I'm going to get them next time. And the community really, really ran with that. My Twitter was exploding
so
that day.
Awesome, man.
We've been watching,
so
man.
awesome.
It's
so cool. And there were so many
movement.
People who were like retweeted, and they were like, hey, you know what? I'm doing this too. And if you send me one that I really like, I'll buy you a copy of like Rise of Iron. And then
I saw that.
Yeah. And like half a dozen people were like jumping on board. I was like, wow, that's so cool. But it was really awesome to see the tweets and the screenshots that people were sending, because it was really overwhelmingly positive. It was just, people were saying, you know what? Good game, man. You were so dirty with that sniper rifle. Like, well played. And then the enemy who just beat them was like, oh, wow, thanks, man. Like, good game to you too. You know, good try.
Yeah.
You almost had it. Like, good stuff. Like, hey, and a couple of them were like, hey, do you want to like group up and play together? And like, people were connecting and stuff like that. It was really interesting to see this social experiment that I didn't even think would go very far just completely
it took
taking
off.
over for the day.
We loved it, man. We loved it. We want to get in on it next time. We think this should be like a decently often recurring thing. It's just, I mean, our whole community, the Dirt Fam, is just built on positivity and fun and welcoming, and this is just like such a cool thing you did, you know.
For sure.
It's just spreading that GG positive, like you said, all the way down to just kind of your self-talk. It just works.
Rest assured, I'm thinking up of more.
Good.
Awesome.
Some of them will be to, you know, improve as a player, and some of them will be to just, you know, spread good vibes in the community. But I am thinking up of more.
I think it's important to espouse a healthy sense of competition, because if you have a positive and healthy competitive attitude, you think about what you might see out on a football field, and you see a good competitor compared to a bad competitor. A bad competitor is going to get angry at his opponent. He's going to talk trash. He's going to storm off when things go wrong, or at the end of the game, he's going to refuse to shake the other team's hand, right? But when you see a good competitor, at the end of the game, he goes up to the player that kept sticking him, and he's like, hey, man, like, you're strong. You're a strong player. You know, high five him, give him a hug, whatever. Give him encouragement. You know, when they really shouldn't. They really don't have to. But that's what a healthy and good competitive atmosphere is like. And I would love to see that really take off in the Destiny community, because there's something that Aeronite titles a series of videos that he has, and it's called "Let's Get Better Together." And I think that is something that if the community can take into hand and say, hey, we all want to get better at this game, let's do it together. Yeah. If you think of your enemies as competitors as compared to adversaries, then it's going to be better for everybody.
And the positive mentality leads to other things. Like that sports analogy, that's perfectly spot on. Like you see the bad, quote, bad player, he's bitter, he's salty, and it's okay. Everyone feels like that once in a while, but you can't over embrace that. So like if you see a really good athlete, here's what'll happen after the game. They'll get beat and they're upset, but they will go up to a player on the other. It's the classic at the end of the game. You shake hands, GG.
Yeah.
But the more you kind of get into that, the more you learn from it, because you move on. Now, for a specific example, I've had sweats way early on, way early on, where one time I'll get like creamed, you know what I mean? And I was just so bitter, and I just, I didn't want to talk to anyone because I thought I just did so poorly. And I just, I was like, I'm getting off. I just hopped off. I didn't want to say GG to anybody, didn't want to talk to anyone. I was just so in the bitter barn, all the windows and the doors closed. And I didn't think about it after that. I just wanted to like move on. I was just grumbling all night. And then you compare that to if I lose in a sweat now, I always, no matter what, even win or lose, go back to the party chat, you say good game, but then you develop a conversation, and you take the tension and the pressure off of yourself, because you'd be like, man, you were Titan skating so good, dude. You had such good control. I was so impressed by that. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. And, I was trying to go around this part of the map, and I was like, yeah, I saw you doing that. And then you put yourself in a better state of mind. And then when I got off, I started thinking, it's like, man, he really was Titan skating really good. I was like, what could have done to maybe not get pushed around by that? Where could I have gone? What could I have done differently? And you start opening up these doors in your head of how could I have played differently? And, then maybe you go back and you watch the footage if you were recording yourself, which I do. And you're just like, oh, you know what? He was going that way a lot. Maybe I could have done this to counter. You open up more possibilities for you to learn from the experience, instead of just locking yourself up in the bitter barn and being like, that's it, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's where I was hoping you were going with that, man. Positivity is just so contagious. It turns your own self-talk into just positive self-talk, like you said, and you're just like, okay, why did he beat me?
Exactly.
Why did he or she, that guardian, what were they doing to shut me down so crazily, Instead of just turning your console off and going to bed, and then the next time
right.
the next time you log on, the last memory you have of playing the game is being super salty.
Exactly.
Yep. So you put up what you called an open letter to the Destiny community on Twitter last week, and this is somewhat what spurred me to ask you to come on the show, because I really enjoyed and agreed with what you had to say. So give us a little background on what that letter said and what you were trying to communicate.
Sure, I remember that. I actually debated for a long time if I should post it. I had just been on Twitter a lot, and I love the Destiny community to death. Maybe the best community I've ever been involved with. But every now and then, it's kind of like a weird family, you know what I mean? Families fight with each other, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you still feel like a family, but it just it just sucks when you're arguing with each other. And I had seen a lot of angry tweets from people who I don't know, some from people who I did know, and who I, kind of respected. And I didn't want to call anybody out directly and say, this is about you and you're wrong, blah, blah. But it was like building up inside me, because the expression that kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back is blank is a crutch. And I see that way more often than I was hoping to see. in recent memory. Just I feel like Twitter, YouTube, Reddit in the downvoted comment section, people saying blank is a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually in moments of extreme anger or frustration, which to a degree can understand. But
yeah,
I really do not like that expression. And part of my mantra of trying to make sure that people are improving their game both strategically and like mentally, I think it's something that can hold you back from getting better, from being good. I think it's something that way too many people throw around, and I really just wanted to organize my thoughts on how I feel about when people use the expression blank as a crutch, which I think is a ridiculous statement. And I wrote it up pretty passionately, I would say. I stayed up late. And I was just thinking all day the next day. I was just like, should I post this? Because I might get some flack. I might create more drama and arguments. And I just sat on it for a while. And I thought, you know what? This is something that I really do believe in. And even if it gives a little heat, I hope that even if like one or two people read it and I can change their mind even a little bit, I'm like, you know what? It'll be worth it. I don't care. I'll deal with the heat later. And then I just posted it. And for the most part, people took it pretty well.
I mean, when you read it on the surface, it's like, well, hold on. And then you read your letter and it's like, well, I mean, even the baseball comparison is like that.
Oh, you
really
like that?
Kind of brings it back around.
Yeah. A lot of people said that was a pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So for those who haven't read it, Fallout, tell us why it bothers you when people use the phrase blank is a crutch. What is it about that statement that you feel is fundamentally wrong?
Well, I feel like it's the instant go-to response when you are frustrated with something to a point, like you're losing to a subclass or a weapon in PvP, and you just have difficulty figuring out how to deal with or counter whatever it is that is making you angry, and you blindly just say, people who use that, they're just using it as a crutch.
Mm-hmm. So, i.e.,
Put
universal
anything,
remote, right?
Sure,
that's
why
probably
not?
what you're going to hear the most right now.
I mean, we've been hearing it for forever, though, right?
Yeah.
Since the launch of Destiny,
It's what's the flavor of the week?
What's the flavor of the week? Auto rifles, year one. That's
Firebolts.
The original Suros,
Sunsingers,
then Thorn.
Yep, Thorn, last word.
Final rounders.
Shotguns. I mean, it just never ends. And it's just, if you use that phrase too often, I feel like it's like to a level you're almost lying to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But more specifically, my problem with blank as a crutch is that people use it because they're automatically assuming that the enemy is using something because they lack the ability to use alternatives, and which is like ridiculous. So just as an example, shotguns are a crutch, which I have been hearing a lot lately. It's like people don't have any skill, so they use shotguns because they have no skill. Now, the reason I find that kind of ridiculous is because if you look at top-level tournament players, many of them use shotguns. Now, are you going to tell me that the top-level tournament players have no skill?
Right.
They're using them because on paper, they are very effective. And if you are playing a game with the intention of winning, which many of us do, and if you're playing for fun, that's fine. You can play for fun. I have no problem with that. But if you're playing to win specifically, you are going to use the option that is the most effective option available to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like, just to give a different example, it's like in the NBA. Imagine you are the size of Shaquille O'Neal, right? And what takes more skill to do in the NBA? Shoot a three-pointer or make a dunk? In my opinion, if you were the size of Shaq, it would take way more skill to drain a three-pointer than to dunk because you're gigantic. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you have that size and that power available to you, you're going to use it because it's effective. Now, you wouldn't hear anyone at the end of an NBA game saying, "Oh, only Shaq, he can just dunk. It's just such a crutch." he's not actually a skilled player because he can't shoot threes or whatever, you know what I mean? And
Right.
do you think Shaq, if he heard something like that, he'd be like, oh my God, they're right. I am not I need to change. I need to impress them with my skill. And like, no, he's going to play to win. He's going to use his strengths that are available to him, and he's going to play the smartest way that will net him the win. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other part of that conversation too that you had in your letter is that, like, for example, those top level players using shotguns. The other side of it is if you make them all use fusion rifles, they've been working on their game for a long time, so they're probably still going to destroy with those fusion rifles.
Sure,
that's basically what you're saying as well, right?
I mean, they're top for a reason. They're good players,
Right?
And you can switch it around too. If your official mentality is that you think shotguns are a crutch and that they are too OP and that anyone can use them and do amazing, well, that's not really accurate, because I can't give a shotgun to like a 1 month player and say, okay,
Right.
go win the next Farcog tourney, and he should be able to do it easily, right? Because he has a shotgun,
Right.
Yeah.
he'll get mopped.
No skill, bro. No skill,
Exactly.
scrub. So I think, and I'm sure that you have this intent to an extent, that this relates really, really well to a concept presented in a book called Playing to Win.
Yes.
And I think it's even chapter 1 outlines what's called the scrub mentality.
Oh, yes.
And when I first read this book, and this was probably sometime last year, to be honest, it really called me out, because it helped me realize that I had the scrub mentality, and I was complaining about crap that, to be honest, was just people playing and using the most effective tools at the game. And so it's really cleaned up my attitude. But can you relate to our listeners what is the scrub mentality?
Sure. It's just basically, in a nutshell, scrub mentality is when you find yourself defeated and you're only making excuses that you lost to, whatever excuse you can think of. Like, oh, I lost to a player. He's not even good. I lost to a player who doesn't even have any skill. And he doesn't have skill because, I'm just going to use a Destiny example, because he's not using a sniper rifle. And it takes real skill to hit headshots with a sniper rifle, which I will agree, it takes a lot of skill to hit headshots with a sniper. I think snipers take more skill to use than shotguns overall. But that doesn't mean that if you're not using a sniper, that you're an unskilled player. Do you know what I mean?
Right. So a scrub is someone that wants to win, but they have created their own artificial rules of engagement that don't actually exist in the game, that they consider fair and not fair.
They're self-imposed rules.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I've gotten into a lot of arguments about this book, specifically with strangers on the internet. It's not meant to put anybody down, but
No.
I'm sure many people know somebody who you put restrictions on your own gameplay,
Right.
and that can affect how high you can go as a player. Like, I know somebody who is like, they were proud. They were telling me how proud they were of the fact that they have never used the last word.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I don't use it because it's a no-skill gun. And I'm like, well, but on paper it's really effective and you can really clean up if you're good with that gun. And they're like, no, it's too cheap. That's a word that they cover in the book Playing to Win a lot.
Yeah,
the word cheap, which is kind of like in the mind of the beholder. Like, why is it cheap? Like you're different. Your version of cheap is another person's version of smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I understand this concept well, because crap like that has come out of my mouth in the time that I've played this game.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Well, even like for me right now, I've been talking about grenades for a while, and we've all been in this position at different levels of our play, and it's like you just got to find that happy balance of constructive feedback about an ability in the game versus just letting yourself get super salty about it and not trying to play the way the game is right now.
Yeah, and you did a good job. You prefaced your statement by saying this doesn't mean that we don't think that there's certain things in the game that may or may not be exceptionally strong.
Oh, sure.
Right.
And
right.
may or may not be worthy of balance consideration, in your words. So there's a difference between having a healthy debate or taking some real critical thought about, where a certain skill or weapon or armor piece belongs in the game. There's a difference between that in calling those things a crutch and imposing a rule set that says, well, yeah, they beat me, but I'm better than them because I didn't use final round.
Exactly, right? Or whatever it is that you're complaining about. Yeah, because I would get into these discussions about the expression blank as a crutch, and people are telling me, oh, so you're telling me that you think Destiny is a perfectly balanced game? Like, you wouldn't change anything? I'm like, no, that's not what I'm telling you. There are plenty of things in the game that I would open the door to let's sit down and look at this perk, this armor, this gun. Like, is it maybe too strong? Could we push it in a different direction? You know what I mean? Are there things that are underpowered? Of course. But that I can feel that way, and I can still also tell you that you're silly for saying that the player who beat you is leaning on a crutch simply because they picked a strong option.
Right.
Like, what are we supposed to go into Crucible and use terrible options? Is that what we're supposed to do?
And, to bring it all back around for, we mentioned top level players, for all you players out there that are trying to get better. I mean, I think your overall, point of this is back to your positivity vibe and your mental game that people should work on. And doing this isn't going to keep you in that place, right?
Totally.
Using the crutch statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to put yourself in a good place. And if you get beaten, and everybody gets beaten, keep saying that all the time, even the top level players, we all get beaten. But when you lose, there has to be a point in your Destiny career, if you truly want to improve as a player, you have to ask yourself, what did they do right? What did I do wrong? You have to ask yourself that question. If you never do, if you only get upset, if you only blame them for whatever tactics that they're using, then you're just not going to hit the next level. You have to ask yourself that question.
Well said.
And you hit it too at many different points in Destiny, different levels of skill, right? And it's challenging. It's definitely challenging.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really enjoy your point there. But let's take it to a little bit of a lighter conversation.
Sure, yeah,
now.
Getting pretty deep there.
Hopefully our
Getting into
listeners,
psyche here.
yeah. Hopefully our listeners really got something from that discussion, and if you did and you want to debate it more, I'm sure Fallout would be happy to talk to you more about it. And he's got plenty of videos and posts on Reddit that you can explore to learn more how to be a better player.
I just want to ask one thing real quick, because we hit on a lot of different things there. Fallout, if somebody, I think of very specific people in the Derp fam, if they aren't at this point very skilled in PvP and they really want to get into it in threes, I mean, just the very basic foundational level, like what should they be thinking right now?
What should you be thinking if you want to get into like competitive threes?
Right. Yes. And just play better in threes Crucible, because we have several players in the Derp fam that they're at that point, like we talked about, they're nervous to jump into sweats.
Sure.
And they're what should they be thinking right now?
Okay, there's 3 things that I can think of right off the top of my head which you should be doing. Number 1 is you want to do a little homework first. You want to go on Twitch, go on YouTube, and look up videos of the topmost players playing 3v3. And you will learn a bunch, even before you pick up the controller, about how they move, how they communicate with each other, how they control the map, how they shoot, how they fall back, everything. Just by watching, you can learn so much by just watching these top-level players play. It's really kind of astounding if you've never watched it before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number 1. Number 2 is you should really consider recording your matches when you play and watching them later.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a capture card, which I know many people don't, you can sign up for Twitch. get a little Twitch page going on, because if you record a game, like you're broadcasting on Twitch live, and even if no one's watching, that's okay. You can go to your Twitch page later, and it will save your most recent broadcast, and you can just make a highlight, and you can watch it there.
Yep.
And if you watch yourself play, and I know it's kind of, you have to really force yourself to sit down and do it, because you'll play a game, and then you'll think, I've heard that you should watch your gameplay footage, but I kind of know how that game went. No, you don't.
Don't skip it.
Sit down and then watch the footage of yourself playing, and you'll know right away. Sometimes you'll watch yourself go into a room or do something in the game, and you'll think, why did I do that? What was I thinking? Like, why did I push a 1v3 when my teammates were dead? Why didn't I fall back and rotate? You just learn from watching yourself play, and you learn from making mistakes. That's how you improve. That's why I keep telling people that it's okay to practice, it's okay to fail, because from making mistakes, you learn how to correct, you learn how to get better and improve. So that's number 2. You should really record yourself. If you're truly interested in getting better at 3v3, you should record yourself and watch. And the final one, which everybody tells you, you have to practice and you have to stick with it. You just find a team. If you have friends and they're all interested in getting better at 3v3 too, then that's great. Then go into matchmaking. Do the things that I've told you. Watch the people play. Learn from them. Learn from your own mistakes. And just keep playing.
Implement the things you've learned. Right?
Exactly. And the more you play, the more you're going to improve. The more you're going to pick up the game. It's like if you compare someone who has been playing baseball for a week and someone who has been playing baseball for a year. You're just going to get more experience naturally, even if you're just playing one game a night or a couple games a week. You have to stick with it. And if you just keep a good mentality, you don't push yourself over that edge too much, and you just really think after games where you've lost, and you want to look at that footage where you've recorded your gameplay, and you just think, all right, let's see what I did wrong, or let's see what I did right. If you had a really good game, then watch and see what you did right. But you have to just think what you did right or wrong, and don't let the anger, take over. Try not to push it away. You can get angry in the moment. Everybody does. But at some point, you just have to think, how do I move forward from here? What did they do right? What did I do wrong?
Awesome. Yeah, I don't mean to. Sorry to make us go long here, guys. I think of those players out there in Cyborg and I mean, we talk to them all the time in our community. And one last quick question. You can answer yes or no, abbreviated. I thought of this while you're saying all this great stuff. While they're doing this, should they stick with one class and one subclass?
Whatever feels right to you. If you feel like there's a subclass that you really want to learn, stick with it. I promise you will improve if you dedicate the time. If you feel like mixing it up, then learn something new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
So, Fallout, what are you most excited about for the upcoming Rise of Iron?
Oh, man, I'm just looking forward to so many more people getting back into PvP.
That population, man.
Oh, it's going to be great.
I'm looking forward to that, having bigger and better lobbies for sure.
Those trials passages will be a little different when Rise of Iron drops.
I'm actually really looking forward to Sparrow Racing.
Oh, yes. No. SRL, man.
I love Sparrow Racing.
I just love the map of the content we have now, too. We know what's coming for the next several months.
It's pretty exciting.
I'm so excited for Rise of Iron.
Do you think that... so we've got a big announcement, a stream coming up Tuesday. Which is when this episode will drop. Do you think the announcement of custom matchmaking is inevitable?
I never like to jinx things, but just this once, I'm going to go on the record and say that I have a really good feeling about this.
Man, it's like the way they've built this up. It's like they've got to know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess they haven't a ton, but like the pulling back the curtain on something.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, guys, don't do this to
well,
us.
And even the way they framed in the written Game Informer article in the magazine. I mean, they came out and said, like, we are delivering a very, very much requested Crucible feature.
Yes.
And
right.
like, okay, what there's nothing else it could be.
Rise of Iron will get as hyped as Destiny 2 if this is
Oh,
what
yeah.
they're giving us in September, right?
And then they pull back the curtain and they're like, here's what we promised you. 100% skill-based matchmaking.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
That would be a disaster. Now they'll be like, hey guys, we did it. Kill cams. You're like, oh, damn. Shot to the gut, man. No, I think it's coming. And I think it's going to be amazing for the sweaty community that exists. And I think it's really going to open up that community to an even wider player base, which I think is going to be a lot of fun.
I think if they did, I think it would be wonderful.
Not to mention what it's going to do for the quote unquote pro community, and for those that want to play, at a competitive level. It really just makes it all possible.
For sure.
It's just so fun to watch Destiny. Watch people play Destiny,
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah. So while we're talking about that, you did a little shoutcasting last weekend.
So cool.
I did. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah, for the Far Cognitions tournament with a lot of top tier players, and I watched some of that go down. Man, what did you enjoy the most about being able to do that?
I don't know. I just always wanted to. I love competitive esports. I'm like a huge fan of Super Smash Brothers Melee. I don't know if you watch that on Twitch. So much fun. But I always just thought to myself, I feel like I know a lot about Destiny, and I just love the competitive side. I play with a lot of really good people, and it's just such a fun community. And I just kind of put it out there. I was like, you know what? If there was ever an opportunity, I would do that. I would shoutcast for sure.
I remember seeing you put something up there on Twitter about that. So I'm happy you got that opportunity. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, really great.
Did it with my buddy Bones from Crucible
old
Radio.
Bones.
Good old Bones.
Oh, yeah. He was just on a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, I know it was, yeah. But, God, it was so good. And we loved every minute of it. And the community, those who actually did tune in and watch, they really enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
And if there's more tournaments in the future, I just want to go on the record to say that we are definitely looking for more opportunities to do it again.
Awesome,
yeah, we get a tweet from our Derp fan member, Matty Misfit, and he said he really enjoyed it, and he asked if we could expect it more in the future. So you just answered that.
I think that answers the question, right?
Official yes.
We had a couple other Twitter questions for you. Maddie also wanted to ask, he writes, I seem to have forgotten how to hunt her. How do you relearn a class or subclass after taking a break from it?
Good question. You know what I did when I was trying to just not even relearn a subclass? If I'm trying to beat something into my head, I'm going to go into first the Cosmodrome to get a feel for it, and then I'm going to go into Rumble. And one time I got my Xbox One Elite controller. It's got like the paddles on the back.
Yeah.
Really, really love that thing. But I had never used a controller with paddles on the back. I just knew that I wanted it because I thought it would improve my gameplay, which it definitely did, because you don't have to take your thumb off the right joystick to hit the buttons on the right side of the controller. So it was so difficult for me to learn that because I feel like I'm just not, even though I've been gaming my whole life, my hands felt stupid trying to learn something new because you're trying to relearn how to walk and shoot and jump and all that stuff. So I went into a game and I said, okay, all you're going to do this game of Rumble, you're not even going to try to win. You're going to go into Rumble and you are going to learn how to Titanscape in a game. And it's okay if you get killed. You just need in-game practice. That is what you need. So it was like every time I spawn, first thing I was going to do is Titanscape. And then try to sprinkle it into my gameplay. And it was the same thing when I was learning Night Stalker for the very, very, very first time. When it first came out, I was like, I want to learn how to play Night Stalker. But I really need to learn how to Shade Step, which is something that we hadn't really had access to in the game before. So I just kept telling myself, your goal in this game of Rumble is not to win. Your goal is to practice Shade Step. And I just did it over and over and over. And then you just pick it right back up.
Yeah, I mean a Titan. I don't have a problem skating, but every time I get on my Hunter, I forget to Shade Step.
So I think a great tip to sum this up for Maddie and for other players who might even be beginners as well is get into a game, and Rumble is a great example of the playlist, but get into the game with a goal in mind of, okay, I'm gonna work on this specific thing, and just do that. Don't worry about if you're killing or being killed. Just do that thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I have had good experience with that myself, of just focusing on, okay, I'm just here to try to do this, and it really, the focus practice, I think, helps a lot.
Back to the 64, and I think on Xbox, we need Perfect Dark with bots. And we can go in there and practice,
man.
right?
That was fun.
Yep.
Love that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We got another tweet from our buddy Hidden, and he just wanted to mention too, to talk about tourney commentary once custom matches is announced. So I think we covered we covered all the questions that they sent out. I think it sounds like everybody really loved your shoutcasting. Man.
That makes me really happy.
That's good. That's good. I noticed a couple other cool things you've been up to. You are a busy guy, because when I was like, all right, I want to make sure, I'm kind of up to date with what's been going on with this guy, and I started looking around, and you are just everywhere right now.
Still maintaining a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a really great video on Planet Destiny about the state of shotguns.
Thank you. That was a fun one to put together.
Yeah, so I would definitely encourage people to check that out if they find that they need some more information about where shotguns are and what's viable where. It's a good video. And then our buddies over at Dad Tales from the Tower, that's let's see, NFG Rocker, Stu, and JC Jesse, all members of Dad's Gaming. They had you on just this week.
They did. They were so funny and nice. Great group of guys. Really.
Yeah, that beginning skit had me in stitches, man. When he popped that air horn, I just lost it. It was great. It was great. They're funny guys, and we've had JC Jesse on the show a number of times for skits and stuff.
That's Zavala, man. That's not JC Jesse.
Yeah, he does a great Zavala. So it was great hearing you on there, and you can probably find Fallout on Crucible Radio often. You've been on that show many times as well, right?
I have. Yep.
Do you still hold the award for most, or no? Did you just lose that?
I think
It's Steve. It's sports,
That's what I
sports
thought,
psychologist Steve.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. You got to get back on there, man.
Yep.
I will.
You better call Bones and be like, "Hey, this is
going
BS,
on,
man?"
Gonna send him a late night text. Hey, buddy,
Get Steve out of here.
Yep.
Even though his are very interesting as well.
He is.
I love
He's
that
great.
guy. Great guy.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. Can you tell us where people can find you?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. You guys are great, and I really love the show. Congratulations on the community focus. That was so cool.
Oh,
Thanks,
thanks, man. Thanks.
And-
We were pumped. Our community was pumped about that.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad. Seriously, you definitely deserve it. And if you're looking to find me, you can hit me up on YouTube, where I have all my content, which is youtube.com/FalloutPlays. Same thing on Twitch, twitch.tv/FalloutPlays. And Twitter is Fallout_plays.
There you go.
The underscore.
Give this
Underscore is
guy
key.
a follow. I have to say, I really, for some reason, I really like your player icon that's on Twitter, like your thing. I've always loved that picture. Who did that for you?
That's actually my girlfriend. She is a graphic designer and a really
nice.
good artist. She
Nice.
does she designed my logo, which I have on my t-shirt now.
That's awesome.
Because I'm a huge dork and I have my own t-shirt now.
Hey, we do too, man.
That's great.
But yeah, no,
She's good company.
she's
Well,
really good.
Tell her we love it. Tell her we
I
love it.
will.
Yes.
She'll appreciate
All
that.
right, man. Well, again, thanks for coming on. We'll be sure to have you go on again in the future.
Yes, we hope
That
you
would
will
be great.
visit.
Yeah.
Visit the derp world again.
Oh, I am going to overextend my welcome like you wouldn't believe. No, I'm just
And
kidding.
everybody be sure to give this guy a follow. Check him out on YouTube and keep your eyes peeled for all the content that I'm sure will inevitably drop after the Rise of Iron. This is the
Yes.
guy that's going to keep you informed.
Gonna do my
Yes.
best.
All right, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that was a really fun interview with Fallout Plays. What a solid guy, man. He's great to talk to.
Yes. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think he may be, of course, welcome, but he may be coming back on the show at some point.
I think he will. I think he will. So, you ready, man?
Yes.
What time is it?
I'm ready. It is time for some Derp Fam
Feels. Derp Fam feels.
You always go high pitched singing, and I go low.
I know, man. We've got
we cover both.
Got a good
spectrums.
chorus going. All right, well, we've got a speak pipe. All of our guys who were down a week, they've come and they've done their speak pipes that
they're here.
They were owed to us. So we've got one from a community member, Michael Moore. Let's take a listen.
Hi, everyone. Michael Moore here. Last week I was called out by Jay Francie. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. I've been really enjoying getting to know you and the rest of the guys in our little rate group. It's been a lot of fun. I'd just like to give a quick shout out to everyone who's kind of helped me out in the Derp fan. I'm sure I'm leaving some people out. Thank you to Joe Maiden, Thaden, Joe Havoc, Dive Beast, Panic, Milks, Pika Warp, Lurson, Roving, Demented, Hidden, and Pack Devil. Cyborg, you've even helped me out through a couple of the early raids. The person I'm calling out this week is going to be Chuck's Likes Pizza. He's kind of been helping me out with trials just about every single weekend, and really appreciate it. I am pretty terrible at it, but he never lets me know how he honestly feels. He's always giving me encouraging words and giving me great tips on how to get better. So I really appreciate that. Never gets salty with me, and if I start to get salty with myself, he just gives me some encouragement about just one round. Well, anyways, buddy, I'm calling you out, and thanks again, and thanks to Arrow and Cyborg for everything you guys do, and creating such a cool group for us to get together and play some games.
All right, Mr. Moore, thank you for that speak pipe and all those awesome Derp Fam shout outs. You challenge Chuck Likes Pizza.
Yeah.
You played some trials with him, right?
Yeah, he's a really great player. A great shot with a sniper, and pretty cool guy, man. So it's glad to hear he has been chipping in, helping community members like Michael complete activities and stuff. He's a great addition to the family, man.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So you have been challenged, Chuck. You better be listening. Send in a
Yes.
speak pipe, my friend. Speak pipe.
Don't stress.
Yeah.
Don't stress. It doesn't have to be by the next episode. You guys don't know when we record.
That's
but
right.
Whenever
That's
you
right.
get time.
So speakpipe.com/Destiny Reset.
We got another.
Yeah. Who's that from?
From Brother Elijah.
Brother Elijah.
Yes.
Take a listen.
Hey guys, Brother Elijah here. I'd just like to start by giving a shout out to Forest and Stone. Thanks for the challenge. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Vanquished and Slarty. If it wasn't for you two out and about running strikes, I never would have found this amazing community. And in all honesty, probably would have stopped playing Destiny. I was a year one player who never got to run raids, nor nightfalls, or any of the good stuff. And in the last 4 months since I've joined, I've just about done it all. I am blown away by what you guys have created here. All of you are just absolute beauties, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to meet each and every one of you. I'd like to end this off by sending a challenge out to Vanquished, and with another giant thank you to Cyborg and Arrow. I love you, Derp fam.
All right, Mr. Brother Elijah, thank you for that speak pipe, my friend. We appreciate your thanks as well.
We always say this. We love to hear that stuff about the Derp Fam, finding the community and reigniting a love for Destiny.
Absolutely. So yeah, he calls out Mr. Vanquish. Vanquish, you're up, buddy. Let's hear that speak pipe and challenge somebody else in turn.
Yes, Vanquish is my IRL friend. He's the throwback raid guardian.
Yeah, Vanquish, man.
Yes.
He's been doing a great job of coordinating the throwback
Thanks for doing that.
raids week at the beginning of every month. So shout out to him for coordinating that effort, man. That's awesome.
Definitely, yes.
We got another one up from Mr. Cam Pike Mayer, down under. So let's take a listen to that.
Hey fam, how's it going? Cam Pikemere here. Just thought I'd drop a quick hello and a special speak pipe coming straight to you from Vanuatu. That's right, I'm on holiday with my little fam. Short geography lesson for you all. It's hot. I'm on the beach with a cold drink in my hand, and I can't speak a word of the language, and that's fine by me. Everything is fantastic. I'll miss you all in a couple of weeks in Destiny. Have fun. Happy reset. Later, Guardians.
Cam, thank you so much. You're probably not on vacation anymore, but we were glad you were at that time. We got it.
Yeah.
Very cool for you to send that in.
Thanks for thinking about us while you're on the beach, man.
Yes.
Very nice
I probably was on vacation also, to be honest.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we got one more coming up from our buddy up in the UK, Mr. BitDead. Let's take a listen.
Hello, you gorgeous gentlemen. It's BitDead here. Just want to send you a quick message to say congratulations on reaching 1,000 awesome members. I know you've heard it 1,000 times before, but you're going to have to hear it again. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for setting up this awesome clan and this fantastic community. Thank you, admins. Thank you, ambassadors. Thank you to the amazing people that I've met in the Dirt Fam and to the Dirt Fam as a whole. The Discord seems to be coming alive lately with fantastic new members. A lot of them seem to be brilliant people, and it just adds to this fantastic place. So thank you again. Well done on your community focus, and also a well done to Holden Court for his focus as well. Awesome work to both of you. Well deserved. Keep it up, boys. Before I go, Exo Titan for the win. Keep up the good work and stay beautiful, people.
Thanks so much, BitDead. We really appreciate you sending in the speak pipes like you do, and appreciate the kind words. We are as excited as you guys are about the community spotlight. Trust us.
And as well about reaching 1,000 members, man.
Yes,
that is
1,000 members.
That is a force. That is a force of Guardians right there.
Like we said, almost all of those 1,000 are in Discord, so we've got hundreds of lurkers.
I know.
That's okay. That's totally fine.
Come say hi. All right, man. So those are the feels for this week. Some great ones indeed. If you have anything you'd like to say about the community or to the community, it doesn't have to be just saying thanks to anybody. You could present a fun topic of discussion or suggestion for the community. You can send us a speak pipe again at speakpipe.com/destinyreset, or we will read your emails. So you can email us at destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, definitely. We've chatted about that. You know, the speak pipes originally were sending in questions and stuff. So
yeah,
don't hesitate. Send in a couple shout outs and then ask us something if you want.
Absolutely. Well, what an awesome show this week, man.
Oh, so fun, so fun. I was so glad to get Fallout on the show. You strategically told him to come on. Very cool.
Hey, you got to find him on somehow, man.
Yes.
But it was a fun show indeed, and I will look forward to the next one.
Man, what a fun week too.
I know.
I don't know if we can top this week.
It's been a blast. So let me just wrap that up by saying thank you to everyone that has been supporting Destiny Reset Podcast. Thank you to all the fam. Thank you to all the other community leaders.
Thank you so much.
That have our back and believe in what we do. We really, truly do appreciate everything that everyone does for us.
It was unreal to see the Dirt Fam and the podcast on the front page of Bungie.net. And you guys know it without us even saying it, but you share it with us, no question. So
absolutely.
So cool.
Well, where can people find you, Aeronite?
You can find me on Twitter at the Aeronites, and YouTube and Twitch is just Aeronites with a 0.
Awesome, man.
What about you, dude?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Cyborg Sasquatch and on twitch.tv/Cyborg Sasquatch, where I'll occasionally stream for your viewing pleasure.
Playing See It Up.
Yep. Voop voop. And finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter. Come give us a follow so you can engage with us and the community. And finally, you can find us at destinyresetpodcast.com. Now, for those who want to know, and I'm sure there will be many, if you would like to join the Destiny Reset Podcast clan, it's very easy. Let me tell you how. Go to destinyresetpodcast.com. What are they going to click?
The Bungie logo.
There you go. And it's going to take you right to our group. We know sometimes The search feature doesn't always pull up what you need, but it's going to send you right to the main derp group. Right there on the front page of that group, you can click, I think it's interact. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep. And join group. You don't have to be, repping the clan tag to join our group. But once you get there, you'll get access to our full and complete forums, and you'll see right at the top of those forums a link to our Discord if you're interested in joining. So that's how you do it.
Yes, and we, with all the new listeners, we appreciate you tuning in. If you want to sport the tag, we do have sub-clans. We've gotten some questions from you guys already. We have, our most recent is Destiny Reset Osiris. You'll see that in the top left, a little drop down, the Alliance. You'll see several of our sub-clans. So if you want to sport the tag, Osiris is the one that has a lot of available slots right now.
Absolutely.
So check that out.
Also on our site, you'll find links to everything Destiny Reset if you're looking for YouTube, or a link to subscribe via iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher or whatever it is that you use. We've got tons of links on there for you to find and easily do what you need to do.
Yes. And as always, thank you for the iTunes reviews. Got a couple new ones this week on the
awesome.
US store. Thank you, everyone who has left it on anything other than the U.S. store. We appreciate it. Sentinel Dad and Pika Warp.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
If you want to leave a iTunes review, we really appreciate them. Every review that we get is going to help us get in front of more Guardians we can bring into the Dirt Fam and have a great time with us.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, that's
Fun
it.
show. That's it. That's all we got
That's a wrap.
for another 7 days.
That's right.
Yes. Dude,
Yes.
until next week, have fun playing Destiny and take care, Guardians.
That's a rare weapon, Guardian.
Nice. I like the long one last week, so we could
Just a quick